I'm playing Battlefield 1943 and I'm doing what I do best, killing Japs. I'm only kidding, but anyways, I want to dedicate this commentary to all those who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. 9 years ago from today, September 11th, 2010, a tragedy struck New York City. A tragedy like no other. New York City witnessed the fall of its greatest towers we've ever seen and built. And the entire city came to a halt as we watched in terror on our TV screens as the terrorists flew planes into our towers and knocked them down. Terrorist attacks may shake the foundations of our tallest building, but they may not shake the foundations and will not shake the foundations of our freedom. God bless America. Fuck yeah. But seriously, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my memories of September 11th. I remember it like if it was yesterday, even though it was 9 years ago. It's been quite a while, but it still feels like it just happened yesterday, especially on this day. Every time this day comes by, I always take times of the day to just sit back and realize what happened and understand the situation. And I remember I was in 3rd grade, and the day just started. It was about 2 hours into the day. Well, actually, like 1 hour into the day. And this teacher comes in and whispers something into our teacher's ear. And it was kind of, they didn't say it out loud, but as the teacher left the room, we looked towards our teacher, and we can see that she had a look on her face like nothing like any other look we've seen before. Usually teachers would be in a calm mood no matter what happens, but this time she wasn't. And we were young, but we were still wondering why the hell does she look like that. And she started crying, not in like a hysterical sense, not breaking down fully and screaming or anything like that, but she started crying. You could see it in her eyes, the tears falling off her face, and the look on her face as if she just lost her best friend. And it looked as if her whole world collapsed before her in a matter of seconds. By just one sentence, maybe a few sentences, her whole world was just at a state of shock. And now, today, of course, I know what the news was, and the news was that a plane had just hit the World Trade Center. And of course, on the first hit, we all thought that it was an accident, because accidents can happen. But when that second plane hit, we knew that it wasn't an accident. And then they hit the Pentagon, and then the Flight 93 crashed in the fields. So we knew it wasn't an accident after that. But the day continued on, and after the time when the teacher came in and told the teacher the news, students started leaving. They started getting calls down to the office stating that their parents were there waiting for them. And once again, that's way out of the ordinary. So that's two unordinary things that happened that day, was the teacher crying and students leaving the school. So right away, now me and my classmates, once again, we're still young, but now we're understanding that there's something going on, something very unusual, and it's obviously not good from the way our teacher looked at us. And as the day progressed, she didn't really teach as normal neither. I remember her not even really explaining anything, just telling us to do work, like open up our notebooks and do this and that, but she really didn't teach anything else. And then came lunchtime, and I think it was around like 11:30, 12, and I'm eating my lunch, and I get called that my parents are waiting for me. Well, my father picked me up, and my mom was still at home. And as I walk out the door and I'm approaching the front gate, I see my father there waiting for me, and usually he'll have the car with him to drive us home, because we're lazy motherfuckers, we don't like to walk, but he didn't. And I asked him, why doesn't he have the car? He said, we'll just walk today. And as we were leaving, I saw a lot of other parents there waiting for their children as well. And it was a very unusual scene. And I remember as we're walking home, my father looked extremely shocked as well, and extremely nervous. And as we're passing over the highway, I can see that the highway going towards the side going towards the city, Manhattan, was closed off. There was a cop car literally at every entrance. And think about how many entrances there are to highways in New York City, and that's how many cops had to be brought to work. And sometimes it wasn't only cop cars that were blocking the entrance to the highways. It was also like MTA cars and even Port Authority cars, and that's kind of unusual, seeing Port Authority cars that usually patrol the bridge areas and the tunnel areas patrolling the highway. So that was kind of unusual, and the only thing that you saw going towards the city was emergency service cars. And I remember one fire truck in particular that went towards the city. It was speeding down the highway, and there was a few firemen on the back, like just hanging onto the back. And that was a very unusual sight as well. And the side coming back was open. You know, there was no cop cars blocking the side coming back, but there was no cars driving in the highway. So that's extremely out of the ordinary. And as we're walking home, you don't see any cop cars, any people walking around, any cars driving. It was like a ghost town. For the first time in my life I've ever seen anything like that. And I'm young, but I'm not young enough that I don't know that something's out of the ordinary when you don't see any cars or people walking around or driving around in New York City. And as we passed the fire department, the firehouse, they have the whole intersection blocked off because there's like 5 or 6 fire trucks sitting there waiting, and their radios are going off. You can hear a lot of clutter going on in the radios, sometimes even screaming. And they were just sitting there, and now I know that today they were probably waiting for orders, because the fire department does work like the military. They do have orders that they need to follow, and they were just sitting there. So that was also unusual because usually there's only like 2 fire trucks per firehouse. So I enter my house and I look at the TV, and there it was, the World Trade Center being hit by the airplanes, collapsing. They were just replaying the reels over and over again and explaining what was going on. And I remember my mom and my cousin and my cousin's daughter, they were all there, and they were sitting there, they were watching it, and they couldn't believe what was going on. Nobody could believe what was going on. You know, something like that just doesn't happen to the extent of flying planes into the buildings. There was an attack in 1993, but that was a car bomb in the parking lot, and that was their first attempt to bring the towers down, but it didn't work. But this time it did, and it was just a horrific scene. And I remember my father bringing me to the roof so that way we could probably see something. And mind you, our apartment building is in the Bronx, and that's 10-20 miles away from the towers, and you can still see smoke and debris clouding into the sky as if a volcano was down there. And it was a really hard scene to imagine. It looked like World War III was taking place in our own city, and I just couldn't believe it neither. And now I was fully aware of what was going on, and I remembered that my grandfather, my uncle, and my aunt, they all worked in the towers. But my grandfather made it out, my aunt made it out, my uncle did not attend work that day. He took off to go to the beach. Lucky motherfucker. But my grandfather was in the building, North Tower, as the first plane struck, and he told us that his boss told everybody that was in the offices to remain seated, that everything's gonna be all right. And my grandfather is very wise and intelligent, and he knows that everything's not gonna be all right. So he got up and he told his boss, "Fuck you, I'm leaving," just like that. And I know some people are like, "Oh, that's pretty much gonna get him fired." I think in a time when your building has been hit by a fucking plane, getting fired is the last thing on your mind. That's just me. Maybe to some people out there, they'll rather stay in the building and hope to God that they don't get fired. But I think the boss and, the boss and the rest of the family members, no, not the rest of the family members, the boss and the rest of the people that stood behind, they died in the collapse. And it wasn't something that was expected, really. in New York City. It was a nice clear day. Very unusually clear day. There was like almost no clouds in the sky, and it was a really nice day. And that day turned into a horrific scene when the towers were attacked. So that's my memory of 9/11. Oh, and my aunt got transferred to Staten Island. So if you guys were wondering what happened with her, she got out and she got transferred to Staten Island. So those are my memories of 9/11 and where I was exactly when the situation occurred. And I'll never forget, because when something so tragic happens on a day, you just never forget what you were doing that day, and you just never forget the images that are in your mind. And I remember I was pretty angry for the next couple of weeks after that, at the fact that we were actually attacked. That was the first attack since 1993, and before 1993 it was Pearl Harbor. So it was pretty shocking. It was pretty shocking to see buildings falling down, especially tall buildings like that. And after it happened, immediately after it happened, we automatically thought that over thousands, like tens of thousands of people perished with the towers, because on an average day the towers get more than 50,000 visitors. And yeah, we're just lucky. Well, I wouldn't really use lucky, but in a sense we are, that they didn't strike the towers around lunchtime, because that's when the towers are really full up, and it probably would have killed a lot more people. So those are my memories of 9/11. If you guys want to share yours, the comment section is for that. Feel free to do so. I would love to hear your stories. Please don't start with all those conspiracy theories and arguments in the comment section. I want to keep this strictly as a remembrance of the people who died, not an open fortress for arguments and everything like that. So please keep respectful as well, because there are some people these days who really think it's all a joke. Like they like to the trolls, as many people like to call them. They think 9/11 is like one big movie to just make fun of. You know, they're like, oh, ha ha ha, 9/11, I love Osama bin Laden, shit like that. And really, it's pretty. I feel sorry for the people who write that, because we all know that in real life, the people who troll on other people, videos and all that, they write nasty comments and shit like that. The reason why they write those type of comments is because their life is going completely shitty right now. Either they're getting bullied in school, and it's most of the time it's young kids that do that, because they get bullied in school these days, and that's their way of relieving their anger. They come online and they write comments such as that. So please, if you're thinking about writing a comment like that, just think twice and be mature about this whole situation, and keep respectful, alright? Because if you lost somebody in the World Trade Center, I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't be funny to you. So thank you. The commentary should be over in about another 2 minutes probably, and I just want to remind you guys that I have started school tomorrow. Well, right now, no, Monday will be my first full day of school, and I won't be able to play as much because I like to keep my focus on school. My parents, I live with my dad, and you know, he's not really the type of guy, oh, you can't play during the week. They don't even give a shit. I could go to sleep at like 5 o'clock in the morning, but I don't, because they know that I'm responsible. So that's probably why my father's not always on top of my ass, because he knows I make the right decisions, and I make wise decisions, and I don't really play that much during the week, even though I like to. I'm also busy as well, so please keep that in mind. And what else was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. I got all tied up with this 9/11 thing. So once again, I just want to dedicate this commentary to all those who passed away in the events that took place on 9/11. And yeah, I hope that all of you out there didn't lose anybody. I highly doubt that every single one of my subscribers did not lose anybody in the tragedy, but if you did, you can pay your respects in the comment section below. And I wish the best for you and your family. I hope that you guys have moved on without forgetting what happened. So I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. Remember to check out the description box. I won't put any links this time out of respect. So till next time, peace.